Hello everybody, this is Brandon Ivey with Shopping Sherlock, and I am coming to you with a new article. This is from Cambridge Entrepreneur Academy, and I've been following anything and everything that has to deal with Crazy Jack Ma, the CEO, multi-billionaire of Alibaba, who made history just a couple of months ago with launching Alibaba in the United States and it garnering the biggest IPO in American history. So I think his life story is very, very interesting. I've already did a video talking about, where he came from, how he got to where he is now over the past 14, 15 years. But this is an interesting article, and this one says, Chinese billionaire says, if you're poor at 35, you deserve it. That's a very inflammatory way to have a topic, which, depending on who you are and whatever your current mindset is, can go both ways. I love it, by the way. But let's go ahead and read this article and analyze exactly what he's saying. So, Jack Ma, if you're still poor at 35, you deserve it. Before I founded Alibaba, I invited 24 friends to my house to discuss the business opportunity. After discussing for a full 2 hours, they were still confused. I have to say that I may not have put myself across in a clear manner. Then, the verdict. 23 out of the 24 people in the room told me to drop the idea for a multitude of reasons, such as, you do not know anything about the internet, and more prominently, you do not have the startup capital for this, etc., etc. There was only one friend who was working in a bank then who told me, if you want to do it, just try it. If things don't work out the way you expected it to, you can always revert back to what you were doing before. Interesting. I pondered upon this for one night, and by the next morning I decided I would do it anyway, even if all of the 24 people opposed the idea. When I first started Alibaba, I was immediately met with strong opposition from friends and family. Looking back, I realized that the biggest driving force for me then was not my confidence in the internet and the potential it held, but more of this. No matter what one does, regardless of failure or success, the experience is a form of success in itself. You have got to keep trying, and if it doesn't work, you always can revert back to what you were doing before. As with this quote by T.E. Lawrence, all men dream, but not equally. Those who dream in the dark recesses of the night awake in the day to find all was vanity. But the dreamers of day are dangerous men, for they may act their dreams with open eyes and make it possible. Jack Ma says, people lose out in life because of these 4 reasons. Number 1, being myopic to opportunity. Number 2, looking down on opportunities. Number 3, lacking understanding. Number 4, failing to act quickly enough. You are poor because you have no ambition. Ambition is living a life of great ideals, a magnificent goal in life that must be realized. In this world, there are things that are deemed unfathomable, but there is nothing in this world that cannot be done. The depth of one's ambition determines the potential of one's future. It's an example. The story of Juliet Wu Shihong, one of China's first-generation professional managers, who gained success by working her way up the ranks from a cleaner, a nurse, a marketing executive, through self-education and learning on the job. She had been the general manager for the world's most famous multinational IT group's Chinese branches, Microsoft 1985 to 1998 and IBM 1998 to 99. She is also China's first successful international corporate executive to join the executive team of a domestic private firm. Wu was seen as a symbol of the new generation of business executives that China has produced in its economic reform and opening up. When Wu started off in a big company working from the lowest ranks, her daily job was to pour tea and sweep floors. Once, because she forgot her staff pass, the company's guard stopped her at the door and denied her entry. She explained to the guard that she was indeed one of the company's employees, and that she had merely left the building for a short while to purchase office supplies. Despite her pleas, the guard still did not allow to enter. As she stood at the gate, she watched as those of similar age to her, but smartly dressed in business attire, walking through without having to show their passes. She asked the guard, why are these people allowed through without producing a pass? The guard dismissed her coldly nonetheless. That was the turning point for Wu. She felt great shame, her self-esteem trampled on. She looked at herself, dressed in shabby clothes and pushing a dirty pushcart. Looking back at those dressed in smart attire, her heart felt a deep ache from the sudden realization of the sorrow and grief from being discriminated. From that moment she vowed never to allow herself to be shamed like this again, and to become world famous. Since then she used every opportunity to enrich herself. Every day she was the first to arrive at work, and the last one to leave. She made every second count, spending her time learning the ropes. Her efforts soon paid off. She was made a sales representative and quickly progressed to being the regional general manager of this multinational company in China. Wu did not possess strong academic qualifications and was revered as the queen of part-timers. Subsequently, she assumed the position of GM of IBM China. This is the Wu Shihong, the heroine in China's business circle. If not for the incident, Wu Shihong would not have had the ambition to become rich, and her life would have taken a very different path then. You are poor because you do not have the desire to become successful. You are poor because you lack foresight. You are poor because you cannot overcome your cowardice. You are poor because you lack the courage and determination. With ambition, you can overcome all inferiority and maximize your potential. With ambition, you can persevere, continuously learn new things, and strive for perfection. With ambition, you can defy all odds and create miracles when others daren't. That's an interesting word. No matter how poor your family is, do not doubt your own abilities and lose sight of your ambition. When your family deems you worthless, no one will pity you. When your parents do not have money to pay the medical bills, no one will pity you. When you are beaten by your competitors, no one will pity you. When your loved ones abandon you, no one will pity you. When you have not accomplished anything by the time you are 35, no one will pity you. Go big or go home. Otherwise, you're wasting your youth. Now, what I also find interesting about this article is not the article itself, because he's not saying anything that all other millionaires and successful people have said. He's getting attention because he's brand new and nobody heard of him before. But what's interesting to me about this article is a response from the people here, where the majority of the people are offended. They're actually offended by the title of the article. The title of the article, if you're still poor at 35, you deserve it. And what that reminds me of this, and it just reinforces the fact that there are 97 percenters, 3 percenters, and 1 percenters. 97% of the population has no clue whatsoever, and they never will. And you should never worry or listen to those people. They don't make a difference. One thing that most people don't understand is that there's a difference between being poor and broke. You see, Poor is eternal. It's long-lasting. It's at a point where it's generational, where you don't even try to change your circumstances, and you pass down the same poor mindset from generation after generation. You lack ambition. You're content with where you are. You see, broke is different. Broke is a temporary situation that you can always change. All self-made millionaires have been broke before. They just made the decision not to be and acted on it. So if you're 35 years old and broke, that's okay. If you're 35 years old and poor, you're a walking corpse. You're already dead, just waiting for time to catch up to you. So what those 97%ers of people, the poor people, do not understand is that this article is not about if you're poor at 35, you deserve it. The article is about if you lack ambition. If you're waiting for somebody else to do something for you. If you're waiting for people to pity you and give you a handout, then you deserve what you get in life. Without ambition, you will never move beyond where you currently are right now. Another key thing that I gleaned from what Jack Ma said was it didn't matter if he was in the internet or anything else. It didn't matter if he became successful, because the journey itself was a success because he chose to do something anyway, even when everybody told him not to. It's a bad idea. You don't know enough. You don't have enough money. Who are you, Jack Ma? Those same friends and family right now, kissing his feet. What are you doing in your life? Are you poor? Or are you broke? There's a difference. My name is Brandon Ivey with Shopping Sherlock.